Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. On my channel I primarily show you facts, like how some of the game mechanics work, what issues the game is suffering from, or what kind of changes the developers are working on. But sometimes I feel that there's something that I have to talk about, which means that I will do an opinion piece-like video, and that's what this is here. So, as many of you might know, I'm against the pre-ordering of video games in this day and age, and I think that the whole situation with the pre-orders and pre-order bonuses got out of hand quite a while ago. So I am against the pre-ordering of video games, but at the same time I'm also supporting developers who try to crowdfund their games on platforms like Kickstarter, and I've been vocal about the projects that I support. Now, if people who are against the pre-ordering of video games also support crowdfunded games, then they usually face the hypocrite accusation, as some say that it's the same thing, which I don't agree on. When I buy a video game or any other product, then I expect that I get a product that is working as intended and as advertised. It doesn't matter if it's a video game, an electrical toothbrush, a smartphone or any other thing. A finished product just has to work from the very first moment that I own it, and it has to do everything that I was promised by the company who built it. Now, during the last 7 or 6 years, the product quality of video games at release has decreased quite significantly, and not just on the PC, but also on the console. What we can very clearly see here is that the availability of high-speed internet and the ability for the developer to roll out really large patches has led to the situation where they simply kick out a half-finished, barely working game just to meet a deadline, which means in many cases to release ahead of one of its competitors. What follows is usually a huge mandatory day 1 patch, which, if you are lucky, fixes the biggest issues of the game so that you can actually play it. What happens more and more frequently is that even the day 1 patches do not get the game into a playable state. Just take Battlefield 4 and the recent Mortal Kombat and Batman games as prime examples, where the PC version of Batman has even been taken off sale. That's how bad the PC version is. So the ability to release massive patches has been both a blessing and a curse for us gamers, because it means that the developers can release games that are pretty much broken, and they absolutely know how broken they are when they release them. If an official spokesperson tells you that they had no clue, then he's simply lying to your face, because damage control is his job. So just a few years ago, when the studios didn't have that ability, they were forced to have the developers focus much more on the product quality and to have a much bigger internal and external quality assurance teams. As a result of that, you bought the game, you put it into your console or PC, and it worked. Especially on the console this was required, as just 2 generations ago, patching a game was not that easy. Then there's the issue with the hype that the studios and publishers build up for their games in order to increase the pre-order figures. It's what made me pre-order SimCity and a few other games at that time. And when these games actually came out, then they didn't or could not live up to the hype. Or quite frankly, did not even provide what the studios advertised. So why should I pre-order a video game in this day and age, where I cannot trust the publishers and studios to deliver a working product that actually lives up to the hype that they build up around it and also works as advertised? 10 years ago you had to pre-order a game to be able to actually play it in the first month after its release. But today the shops get so many copies that you are never really at the risk that the game is out of stock when you want to buy it. And if you have a fast internet connection, then no game is ever out of stock, thanks to digital distribution, which Valve pioneered 11 years ago when they released Half-Life 2 on their new platform called Steam. A physical collector's edition that comes with art books or something like that would be a reason for me to pre-order a game, because here I'm not only at risk that it gets out of stock, but that I can't buy it at all if they only produce a limited amount of that edition. But these special editions that come with physical extras that I want have sadly become very rare. What we get instead are digital bonuses like skins, guns, some in-game consumables like boosts, or in the case of Battlefield it's battle packs. Or even whole characters can be pre-order bonuses. Most of the time there's very little actual value to these digital bonuses, and in many cases it feels like the publisher intentionally locked that content behind an extra wall. Which is really annoying when it's a permanent exclusive. But where pre-order bonuses get really bad is when specific content is only available when you buy the game at a specific store. So that you get gun A when you buy it from Amazon, but gun B is only available when you buy the game at GameStop, And Gun C is only available in another store. So if you truly love a franchise and want to get everything that the game has to offer, then these exclusive deals that the publisher makes with the various shops ultimately lead to the situation where you cannot have the whole game. So you have to decide which of these guns you like the most and then buy the game in the shop that will give you that gun as a pre-order bonus. Just to then find out that this gun is useless and one of the other guns would have been better, which you can't get as these are permanent pre-order bonuses. So these exclusive deals that are tied to a specific shop are really the worst. So the last few years have taught me that if I pre-order a video game on console or PC, then I will most likely not get a working product when the game comes out. And it will take the developer several months to patch out the biggest issues. The hype that they build up around their games is so ridiculous that the games fail to live up to that hype. Watch Dogs is a very good example here because the game itself was not terrible, it just could not live up to the insane hype. That is why I stopped to pre-order video games. I simply cannot trust the studios and the publishers to deliver me what they promise to deliver. And if I continue to give them my money despite the horrible releases of the past years, then I feel that I am encouraging them to continue to do that. So I rather wait for the game to actually come out first and then decide if I buy it or not. Crowdfunded games on the other hand are an entirely different topic. Here we have a group of people who have a vision and they are looking for investors to be able to build it. They do not try to sell you a product, they sell you the idea of a product. And supporting that idea by becoming an investor is a calculated risk. It's possible that you don't even like the final product, or that there won't even be a final product, which is why you should only support crowdfunded projects when you have disposable income. I apply the same rule to early access, where the developers do have a prototype of their vision that gives you an idea of what the final product could be like. But they still sell you the idea of that final product and not the product itself. They are looking for investors to finance the development of their vision to get it from that prototype to a final product that can be sold. So just like the projects on Kickstarter, you should see early access games as an idea that the developers try to sell you and not like a finished product. If you decide to support the project, then you have to be aware that you might not like the final product or that there might never be a final product. So only support it if you have disposable income, as it's possible that you play the game for just a few hours. So that's my opinion on the pre-ordering of video games in this day and age, as well as on supporting crowdfunded projects on platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, as well as my opinion on buying into early access games. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the pre-ordering of video games as well as crowdfunded and early access games. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense.